We play.
We fight.
We conquer.
Welcome back to the Freak Show. I am your host, Bumpy McSquigums. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader continues now. And we are here. We're hanging out. We're looking good. We're styling, we're profiling, and all that stuff. Just, just chilling, relaxing, Pompilius, and all that. Alright, let's get a hustle on.
Curiosity sings in my veins.
I made a terrible choice with the voice, but we're going to live with it and enjoy. Interactable objects. Some objects in the game can be interacted with in a special way. They are marked with specific icons. Some icons allow you to study object, others will transfer the character to neighboring locations or launch a small event. These icons become visible when your character is standing close enough to the interactive object. Left click to perform the associated action. Some interactive objects such as doors, chests, and stuff like that are not always marked with icons, but the cursor will change when you hover over them. However, if you want to hover the cursor over the object and it changes, it's an interactable object. But you can also hold tab. So tab will show you everything that you can interact with. So tab.
One step at a time.
Step at a time. Yes. There's a little sort of chess game going on there. A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood, a resource of incredible value aboard a void ship. Oh yeah. Alright, then we're going to go over here. There's a technomat over here. And, I'm going to press some stuff. Sacred mechanism has been interfered with without due reverence. The duration of the data processing cycle has tripled. And it's incomprehensible information displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. You can make out references to unfamiliar systems and worlds among the numbers and logisticar symbols. Oh, I broke it. Time to run. No due reverence. I'll fix it, guys. Don't worry. There. See? You're welcome.
Patience.
I was never here.
My nerves are frayed.
The warp jump was surprisingly uneventful. The one a couple of cycles ago. That was tough. The delirium took hold of so many. Which was way up to old tricks again. You know what I mean? I have no idea what's going on. Alright.
They will see. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
They all will see.
Hi, I'm going to go read this book. I don't mind. A Candlelit Altar. The copy of the 2348th volume of the Lex Imperialis, the Codex of the Sacred Laws of the Imperium.
There will be no peace in my wake.
True. It's very true. We are not peaceful. Alright, guys and gals, don't forget to comment, hopefully just in the first episode and or on the post in the community tab about Mr. Monsieur Commissar. I got nothing. Party Commissar joining us for our adventures. Yeah, I'd imagine most folks will probably like that, but you never know. Like I said, I want to make sure you guys enjoy whatever's happening, so if you want him to come along and teach me all there is to be taught about the Warhammer 40k world and all the stuff that I just don't get, it'd be a great resource that we can have. And it's Commissar. The man's a living legend, so. Alright, Voiktavir, do I have to open the door? I guess I have to open the door.
I am the rogue thread.
Alright, are we gonna...
One of the Fon Valencia's trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
Are we gonna see the pet break free and eat our faces again? Or try to eat our faces again? This looks different. This is like a different, view of it.
What's happening?
What is happening? Oh.
Run! The servitors have gone berserk!
Okay, dude, he specifically told us to run, but he stood there and just got punched to death?
Watch this spectacle unfold!
Yes, indubitably. To start combat, we hit the start combat button, but we're not there yet. We have ambush. Battle has begun to survive in the grim darkness of the far future. You will have to face enemies of all kinds and fight for your life. These hints and tutorials will familiarize you with the combat system of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Click on the bottom button to start battle. Got it. Okay, start battle. The crew Ossifer is going. It looks like the malfunctioning servitor is next. Oh dear. Ooh, he kind of took care of business. Kunrad Voitiver is doing Voitiverian things. Alright, movement and combat. All battles in the game are turn-based and take place on a grid. On their turn, a character can move, attack, and use their abilities. Select a cell within the highlighted area and double-click the left mouse button to move the character there. Movement points to determine how far a character can move on their turn. 1 MP corresponds to 1 cell on the battlefield. Moving diagonally costs you 2 for every second move. At the beginning of each turn, movement points are restored to their maximum value. Note that once a character starts moving, that action can no longer be cancelled. It's a one and done. Alright. I'm stepping up, and I'm taking this shot right here. Boy, I tell you what. Okay, hold on. To make attacks and use abilities in combat, a character must spend action points, or AP. Their total is displayed on the panel at the bottom of the screen. Every attack or ability has a certain AP cost associated with it. The number of squares next to the icons of attacks and actions and other abilities indicates their AP cost. At the start of each character's turn, their AP is restored to their maximum value. To select an attack, left-click on single shot, weapons. Yep, it's on my cursor right now. Hover the cursor over, show you chances of hitting. If you like it, click on it, and you shoot. The amount of damage character deals depends on parameters of the weapon they're using. The effectiveness of the shot depends on the distance between the character and their enemy. To target an enemy with a single shot, you will see 2 areas denoting the weapon's effective and maximum firing range. Okay. And finally, certain abilities in the game are considered attack actions that can only be used once per turn, unless affected by a specific talent or other abilities the character might have. Character performs an attack action. They will not be able to attack again and will lose their remaining movement points until the start of the next turn. So, okay. Sure. 85%. It's a pretty good chance. Now we have regimental tactic. Okay, when you're ready to end your turn, press space or click the end turn button on the bottom of the screen. We have the regimental tactics. The Astra Militarum commander and all their allies deal additional plus 28% damage to enemies that are adjacent to the commander or their allies until the end of the commander's next turn. All of the commander's allies also take no damage from other ally attacks. Can be used once per combat. And also we have run and gun as a skill. Cooldown is 1 round. The soldier gains plus 4 movement. Their next attack costs minus 1 AP less and does not count toward the attack limit per turn. Until the end of the next turn, the soldier becomes winded. While winded, the soldier suffers a minus 10 penalty to ballistic skill and cannot use run and gun.
Schemes within schemes.
Alright, I'm gonna step up right next to him and take a shot.
Smoking gunfire.
It's a much lower chance to hit, but we missed. Yeah, it was a good effort. It was a good hustle. Your character just missed. To increase your hit chance, equip your weapon with your character with a decent weapon and place them on a vantage point. Abilities and talents improve the weapon skill characteristic will help you hit more often in close combat. For improved marksmanship, learn talents and increase the perception and ballistic skill characteristic. Alright. I failed. I'm a horrible human person. He's like, you shot me last. I will kill you. I'm glad he didn't come own me, because I think that would have killed me outright. I only have 24 HP. That dude decided to. He could have ended me.
A wicked fool.
I said good day, sir. Alright, I took care of it. Cool. I can scarcely believe it on a day like this.
Poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the
Quite the
residential
coincidence.
decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
Uh-huh. Without taking his eyes off the bodies on the floor, Voitiver removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. Then he turns to you. And the Voxcaster is a piece of technology used to communicate over short distances or to record sound. By the right of blood. Alright. Spread out. No one is allowed to enter the premises. Stations!
I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
Alright. The lines on Voitiver's forehead soften and his voice regains its usual courtesy. The Master of Whispers gives you a curt bow. I thank you for your curt bow. Alright, we walked off in this direction, so it's going to be that way. You can open the map! Map. Do I know what direction I'm facing? I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm facing this way, but is there an indicator on the map what direction I'm facing?
One step at a time, amidst the madness.
That seems... Oh, I didn't know you could move on the map. That's cool. Alright, so one of the things I would have liked to have seen...
Curiosity sings in my veins.
...is some indicator as to what direction at least you're facing on the map. But that's okay. Like, we have no real idea of what direction we're facing. We know on the map that this is north and this is west. We take a look at the map, right? We came from here, we walked out, boom, we're here. We go back north this way. If we go west, it's that way. But we would have no way of knowing that in here, right? There's nothing that indicates that. So, again, small thing I would have liked to seen, but does it really matter? No, not really.
Patience! My nerves are frayed!
Oh, calm down. Alright, what do we have here? The wires in the servitor's head are still smoldering. One sec. Okay. It would seem the cause of the malfunction was the short-circuiting of the motive force. I don't know what that means. Tarantula sentry gun constructed with the blessing of the Adeptus Mechanicus using a standard template construct and the manufactorums of Kiava Gamma. A Lehman Russ battle tank, reclaimed and restored by the grace of the God Emperor, the first to breach the capital walls during the pacification of Vortes Chthon.
There will be no peace in my wake.
Oh, what's going on over here? This exhibit is unfinished. Another symbol of House von Valencius's valor will be displayed here at some point in the future. Alright, we gotta come down here and we gotta check out all this stuff too. So we're gonna be a bit more thorough in this playthrough. I know.
Beyond.
And his voice is gonna constantly interrupt me. But in the beta test, we rushed through some of the things. I'm sure there were less details around anyway. But it was very cool seeing that this is different than what we saw in the beta test. Now, I don't know if that is just something that they changed, or maybe that has some bases based off of your starting class. Like, we were like a tech priest before, now we're a soldier, right? So maybe that has something to do with it? I don't know. Either way, it's kind of cool to see something different, though. A violet alloy, which upon closer examination turns out to be a handcrafted object. Symbols carved with a primitive tool are visible on the surface.
I am the rogue thread.
A black shard resembling obsidian. If you look closely, you can discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. A massive golden amalgam interspersed with sparkling particles. The stone on the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hue, as if someone has captured a piece of turbulent sea within the rock. A strange object that resembles sea coral. The porous surface is pitted, a sign that it has been underwater. And finally, a green crystal with white veins. A low hum can be heard coming from the artifact. Alright.
They will see. Oh, yes, indeed. They all will see.
You know what? We never really wandered over this way. I don't know if there's any... Oh, they're going to tell us that we can't go that way, right? I beg your pardon, your lordship. After the incident with the servitor, the passage is closed to anyone except the arch-militant. Or until the arch-militant says otherwise. Alright, let's go head down and talk to Lady Theodora.
My nerves are frayed.
Rut-ro-rorge. Oh, okay. That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora, says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation to the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6, Aethelthrad? I'm going to take a look around the room. Your first impressions of Aethelthrad, who appeared to be about 30 years of age, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. A mechanical or electronic cybernetic substitute for biological limbs or organs. Yep, augmentation or implants. Alright. In stark contrast to Aethelthrad, Theodora von Valencius's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Aethelthrad. Behind the two of them, you see two more men. One is a gray-haired officer of impeccable bearing, who is studying the contents of his data slate, while the other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. Clean slate. No, data slate. An electronic digital storage device similar to a tablet computer. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at you, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Pompilius, approach and give me your answer. Your character's skills reflect their knowledge and capabilities. Some dialogues automatically initiate passive skill tests. If such a test succeeds, new information will be revealed or a hidden dialogue option will unlock. If your character is traveling with allies, the party member with the highest score in the applicable skill is selected for each given passive skill test. Got it. Consider this hypothetical situation. Aeon 6, a new world on the fringes of the Coronis Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say. But attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the plant's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure? And it looks like we got a whole bunch of options. We have lore for the Xenos or Xenos, the lore for the Warp, and then a bunch of non-lore based basic answers. I'm probably going to go with the Xenos one. I do happen to like that. Also, keep this in mind. While there are going to be a multitude of options, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up now. A multitude of options to always, choose from. You can go through and exhaust almost all dialogue almost all the time. I am probably going to try to figure out exactly what my character is and ask questions and go about things how I feel my character would. Now, if Commissar ends up joining me, I'm not sure exactly how that'll work. Maybe we'll come to some sort of consensus, and we'll go from there. But that's what I'm planning to do. So if the dialogue hasn't changed from what I remember in the playtest, there will be things that I just don't ask because it doesn't feel like it would fit how the character is that I'm going to be portraying. So hopefully that's okay. If you guys want to see every single detail of every single thing, there's bound to be other folks also doing Let's Play of this. that make different choices. So maybe you can watch a few different folks and support the game that way. And support the content creators as well. Alright, so those, I am going to read through what all the choices are, but then I'll tell you guys what choice I plan to make. So, those spirits could very well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case, and if the population of Aeon 6 engages in Xeno worship. There are ways to confirm whether that is happening on Aeon 6, or what is happening on Aeon 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer. I have retained some connections in the Astra Militarum. A few Imperial Guard regiments would take care of the natives, their spirits, and the magma. Solid fortifications have never let me down. These reports of spirits certainly sound like evidence of heresy. However, I would put my interest first. No matter what means I would have to use, the riches of Aeon 6 would be mine. Aeon, and I might be mispronouncing things. It's another thing you're just gonna have to get used to. So it's probably like Ion or Ion 6, but we're just gonna go with Aeon. 6 must be purged. For the good of the Imperium, I shall exterminate the heretical beliefs and otherworldly powers that rule the native apostates. I do not know. Anyway, I'm going to go with this one. The spirits could be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. See if they engage in Xeno worship. Theodora arches an eyebrow. Reasonable and prudent. However, chasing after ethereal creatures may prove a rather long and fruitless endeavor. Adelthrad scoffs. Apart from Xenos, an untrodden planet might be teeming with myriad horrors that are far more dangerous and difficult to eradicate. I suspect that you, Pompilius, are simply unaware of their existence. Look, I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Adelthrad. Look, we are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become anyone of our status to engage in petty feuds? I find your tone most disagreeable, Adelthrad. You will kindly alter the manner in which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequences. Shut your mouth, Adelthrad, before I decide to shut it for you. I'm going to go with we are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Duty. Adelthrad looks at you with suspicion. Even among his flock, not all are of a piece. Pompilius, I suggest you familiarize yourself with that fact before you are sorely... Adelthrad, Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me, then, why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Adelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look. See ya, Adelthrad. You suck a little bit. At least for right now. Maybe he's great. Maybe he joins us and we become thick as thieves. I don't know. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to you. So, Pompilius, why are you here? Was it not you who sent for me? There are questions that I wish to have answered. I do not know just yet. I hope you will clarify that. I have some questions I'd like answered. You are direct. I approve. But you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. My name is Theodora von Valentius Massimo of Scarus. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium and carry humanity's light, where powers wicked and heretical reign and bow death and ruin to us all. Alright, we know about the rogue trader, the God Emperor, the Emperor of mankind, the guide, the ruler, the higher power to which humanity offers their prayers for aid and deliverance. Most would be driven mad with despair if they knew the truth. I don't know what is that? What does that mean? Don't answer that. I might ask Commissar what that means. And then I think we know about the Warden of Trade, the sacred relic, a document that affirms the preeminent rights of the rogue trader throughout the galaxy. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could ever dream of amassing. And you, Bombilius, you are one of those with the von Valencius blood in their veins, and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. Alright, so we have I am ready to take on this sacred purpose, but let's be honest, who would actually be ready to do that? Like, literally no one. Okay, except like a sniveling little suck-up type person. And they're definitely not ready, right? It's all too sudden for me. Kind of shirking from duty, getting a little like, whoa, 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 you know, type thing. And then one of, does this mean there are other heirs? I feel like that is the go-to question. So we're going to go with that one. Naturally, some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Adelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful, if not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a moment. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitiver served me for many years before he made his mistake. Huh. Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you. His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valencius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voitiver's performance in his current role is satisfactory, or, well, at least it used to be. Well, if you're satisfied with Adelthrad, then what sense is there of having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me? Theodora shakes her head, impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not... I don't think I wanted to go with that route. I feel like she already answered, right? Oh well. We still decided to go with it. It is what it is. I shouldn't have asked that though. Again, trying to play the character from the right, mindset and whatnot. But I'm rather fond of impatient people. They're not as quick to resign themselves to circumstances and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Adelthrad as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. See, she's already answered this. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here in the Cronus Expanse. Service in the Astra Militarum is a trial from which very few people emerge with their life. That you have risen through the ranks of the Imperial Guard and assumed command of an army is a testament to your astuteness, both on the battlefield and in the tangled net of officer intrigues. I assure you, the company that a rogue trader keeps will offer you plenty of chances to demonstrate both your diplomatic skills and your combat prowess. Moreover, Theodora chuckles slightly. Oh, I wanted to read the thing from before. Sorry, here we go. Let's see what the Astra Militarum is. The primary combat force and first line of defense of the Imperium, also known as the Imperial Guard. I think we did that before, but just in case. Okay. Chuckle slightly. Even changing your family name will not rid you of the fame you previously garnered. I hope it will also help you bring glory to the von Valencius dynasty, to which you now belong. Alright, so I don't feel like I should have asked that one. The one of makes sense. Did I hear you correctly? She already kind of answered this before. I should have just gone, thank you for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? The vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. And we don't know anything about what that means, but we're going to find out a little bit right now. The navigator is a sanctioned noble mutant whose genes allow them to safely guide a warp-capable void ship through the warp. Okay. And the warp itself is an alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Immaterium, the Empyrean, the Aether, the Sea of Souls, or warp space. Navigator? Translation? What are these things that you speak of? Theodora shakes her head. Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Geller Field, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in merely days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. Well, an incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. Oh, is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Geller Field. Or perhaps there's something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all. Theodore laughs nonchalantly. The gray-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread by uneducated riffraff. Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. She turns to you. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live. Any type of digital computer in the Imperium of man. Okay, what are my current responsibilities? Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you, as I did for Adelthred. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide. Where is the ship headed? The Rycad system, the domain of Rogue Trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Only 3 rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse. Each of them possess resources comparable or comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valencius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor. Maybe. I set the course for Rycad on the demand. Theodora grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. For a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose of this voyage, but now is not the time. Alright, now we have 2 more options here. Gracious Lord Captain, surely there are ways I can prove myself a worthy heir. Very butt-kissy, not going to go that route. I have no more questions. Well, in that case, I shall head to Theodora's Vox Awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast. Then nods and draws her weapon. Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. She glances at you. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated. Alright, here we go. No! My God! We are severely outnumbered. Oh, she tried to kill the cameraman. You see that? This seems bad.
Cower before the mind's unhinged!
It does not fit my character at all, but I love the voice. I'm happy I picked it. All combatants act in turns, and their orders determined by an initiative roll. The order of turns is displayed on the left-hand side of the screen, from the bottom to the top. The characters at the very bottom go first, and the ones above them, and so on. Got it. So Theodora, Abelard, Mort. Yep. Then 3 dudes, and then me. Alright, start the battle. Hit him with it, Lady Theodora. Get into cover. Smart move. Abelard's like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
I took care of this one.
We just cleaved 2 people in twain. and he charged over and murdered some other dude. Mort just went and melted some fools. Oh, that heretic shot Abelard. That one missed. This one's gonna hit me anyway. Yep.
Too bad I'm still standing.
Use cover to avoid enemy attacks. Cover that a character can hide behind are marked with a shield, or a shield with a skull. When standing close to them, the character will automatically take up an advantageous position. In this case, the chance that the enemy attacks with cover and not the character behind them increases. The character will not receive a bonus of attack from the side not protected by the current cover, so don't get flanked. Well, I could do the things that you said. That does sound like a thing I could have done, but instead I'm going to shoot you from here.
Another one is shot.
Yeah, and now I'm going to use my running gun again. Alright, and I'm going to say good day, sir. The character has just landed a critical hit that deals increased damage equal to the character's critical damage stat. Character's critical damage is 150% of the normal attack by default. However, certain talents, effects, and abilities can increase it. Each weapon has its own critical damage stat, which is added to the character's total stat value during attack. Critical damage. The chance to score a critical hit depends on the character's critical hit chance. Yep. The base chance is 10% for ranged attacks and 0 for melee. Talents grant passive bonuses and improvements. Characters acquire talents as they grow or gain new levels. And abilities. Each archetype has a number of unique abilities and abilities a character can use. And combat characters acquire abilities as they gain new levels. Got it. Alright, I guess I'm about as in cover as I'm going to be. I doted Jade. I don't even know who you were shooting at. Abelard, maybe? That's not a good idea.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Abelard! Theodora has melted a fool. Abelard is ignoring one dude.
To dust.
You got the beautiful parry and cleave. He is just hurting fools. Mort's coming over and he said good day. And now it is up to me to try to end this.
The storm approaches.
I don't believe I'm going to be able to hit this, but maybe.
Let's see.
Oh, I did it.
Fate claims another one.
Sweet. Your character, had a positive effect. I didn't get to read that. But essentially there are buffs that happen to you. You can read what they do and so on and so forth. Your character has received a temporary positive effect from an ally. Such effects enhance your character's capabilities in combat in some way. You can learn more about the effects you have gained. Hover your cursor over the effects icon next to the character's portrait. So it's usually down at the bottom, I believe. Got it. Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture. Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single Horson survive. The rogue trader turns her eyes to you. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel. She looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. The incident with the rampaging servitors may be connected to what's transpiring now. Possibly. Quite likely. Theodora winces and flicks the switch on her Vox a few times. We will investigate it at a later time. Right now we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. Well, what are your orders? She breaks eye contact with you. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the arch-militant requires aid. And be quick about it. Alright. I think this is going to be the perfect spot to break it off and stop right here. I know we got a little bit further in the first 2 episodes before, but again, we're going to take it a little slower and so on and so forth. And enjoy the game that has been crafted and created for us and, get the kind of the full experience. So far, again, I've been loving it. I'm super happy that I'm getting to rehash this stuff. And I'm very, very eager and looking forward to checking out new stuff as we go. So, baby steps right now. And again, I'm going to try to do like a something like an episode a day for the next few days, just to play a little bit of catch up since we got a little bit of a late start, and there's a good chance if you guys want, that Commissar will be more than happy to join us, and will be joining us for probably from episode 4 and beyond, is my guess. Anyway, that's going to be a tale for another time. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking everything out. Thanks for watching. I've been your host, Bumpy McSquigums. We play, we fight, we conquer.